Actually, secret substance.
Okay, so probably easiest thing to do is if I ask, is everybody okay? It's probably better if everybody just puts their thumbs up to the screen, just so that I know that you can hear me and you basically understand. And then if you have any problems, then just raise your hand. That's enough, Łukasz. Thumb down. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is we'll start with a small seed of words that you already know, things like sushi, Tokyo, baka, those sorts of things, and then we'll build one word at a time on top and slowly build around this seed of knowledge. So we're only adding a few new concepts each time. So there shouldn't be much need to take notes or anything like that. And in theory, you shouldn't have to revise anything we do, but we'll see. I'll make the recording available at the end, so if you need to listen to it again, you can. But we'll be moving really, really slowly, so hopefully everybody will be able to keep up. So the way that we'll run the lesson is I'll ask a question. I'll then give you a few seconds to think about it, and then I'll ask one of you to respond. And then if that person gets it right, then I'll say the phrase again, and then if that person gets it wrong, we'll discuss why that's wrong and what the right answer is. So you hear it being taught. Now the idea is that this is the way that children learn how to speak. So it should be fairly quick to learn. Yeah, so David, as you know from Michelle Thomas, this is basically the sort of children's method of learning. Okay, so before we start though, what I want to emphasize is that the ability to speak and understand any language is not just about how many words you know. In fact, not including anybody here, there's a few people who know a lot of Japanese words, and when I've heard them speaking, they've been completely unable to communicate what they wanted to say because they basically didn't use the right grammar. So they can end up actually saying the opposite of what they want to say, or just saying something which is completely ridiculous and ununderstandable. So grammar is really the thing we're going to be focusing on more than anything else. So things like greetings and nouns, in Japanese these don't change. So if you have a list of greetings or a list of body parts or a list of foods, you can just grab this list and sit down and learn it. That's not so that's probably the best way to learn it, is through putting it into sentences and using it and putting it into some sort of context rather than just learning lists and lists. So I'm not going to teach you lots of vocabulary. We're really going to focus on the difficult part of grammar and adding vocabulary onto that skeleton structure of the grammar.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Yeah. Where's Łukasz? Sorry? What? What happened?
Lucas, you just left.
All right. Bye. So the way that Michelle Thomas explains it is that with enough grammar, you can get the ball into the right goal. You can basically struggle to get your meaning across to the other person. But with the right vocabulary, you can actually put the ball into the wrong goal or into the wrong net. So this is why we're going to focus on the grammar. And also lots of Japanese words, either there are English equivalents, sorry, I mean, there are lots of Japanese equivalents of English words. So if you point to your foot and say foot, then 99% of Japanese people will know that you're talking about your foot. You know, they know the word football, so they know the word, most people know the word that foot means foot. So quite often vocabulary, you can mix in some English words and some Japanese words and you'll be understood. If you're learning to understand Japanese, then of course vocabulary is very important. So you develop the number of key words that you can identify in a sentence, and then you can get the kind of theme, the basis of what people are talking about. And this is how basically I learned most of my Japanese, is picking up a few key words and then understanding roughly what they were saying. But again, if you don't understand the grammar, you could get the complete opposite meaning of what they're trying to say to you. So this is why grammar is going to be so important. In terms of politeness, I think you probably already know that in Japanese there are various levels of politeness. We're going to start at the standard level, which is a polite level, because if we keep the standard level, then we can make distinctions between reported speech and things that we're actually saying at the time. So, for example, if I wanted to say, Fred told me to go to work, then I would take that section of the speech that Fred said and make it a lower level of politeness in order to make it clear that I'm talking about what somebody else has said to me. But you don't have to worry too much about this at the moment, but we'll use a standard level of politeness. Okay, so let's get started. For some of you, this will just be revision, because I know that a lot of you have studied Japanese before. Let me just show you this board so that you can see it. Can you all see that? If you pin my image, then this will come up as your main screen.
How do you do that?
Okay, so this is just the words for it is, or we are, she is, they are. So in Japanese, it's really, really simple. Things don't change depending on the person. So the word for it is the same for I am, which is the same for you are, he is, they are. This is all the same word. There's no change. So the word, as you saw, hopefully, was des. So if I say I am Andy, I would just say Andy des. Okay, so let's start with that really, really simple one. I'll try and pick people who I'm not sure if they speak any Japanese or not, because I know that some of you do. So we'll start with Constantina. How would you say I am Constantina?
Constantina des.
Constantina des. Okay. And then if somebody says to you, are you French? And you want to say, I'm not French, then you would say Fransjin. So this is made up of the word France and jin, which means person. And then you'd use the negative, which is dewa arimasen. Fransjin dewa arimasen. So I can see some of you furiously writing. I don't mind, of course, but honestly, we're going to move so slowly, you won't have the opportunity to write stuff down. You would end up wearing out pens and paper. So, Sophia, how would you say, I'm not English? So, sorry, I didn't show you the negative of it isn't. So, if you want to say, I am, it's des. If it's I'm not, it's dewa arimasen. Dewa arimasen.
Last red flower, What's your last red flower?
Okay, guys, sorry, I'm now picking up some background noise. So can I ask you all to mute, please? And then when you answer a question, I'll ask you to unmute. Sorry. Okay, sorry, Sophie, could I ask you to repeat that, please?
England is the Igirish.
So English is Igirisu Jin. Igirisu Jin.
Igirish Jin darimasen.
Good. Igirisu Jin dewa arimasen. Amanda, how would you say I'm not Polish? So this is made up very easy. You say the word Poland and Jin to say Polish person. Can I just ask you to unmute yourself? That's it.
Yeah. Poland Jin dewa arimasen.
Excellent. Spiros, let's break the fourth wall. How would you say I'm not Greek? Very good, very good. And then Gabrielle, how would you say I'm not Italian? Excellent. Okay, this is quite easy so far, isn't it? Martin, how would you say I'm not Swiss?
I'm not Swiss.
Yeah.
I don't know. Swiss jin de arimasen.
Excellent. Yeah, simply Swiss jin de arimasen. So if you wanted to say I'm not Swiss, but I'm Swedish, then we can now join these two sentences together. And the word for but is simply ga, G-A, ga. Okay, we're going to be using this particle ga constantly. So again, you don't have to write it down. Okay, Zim, I'd like you to say, I'm not Scottish, I'm American. So Scottish is Scotland or Jin.
Scotland Jin ではありませんか?
Yeah. And then you would say, I'm American. So it would be America Jin.
America Jin.
And then Des.
Des.
Okay. Can you say the whole thing one more time, please?
Scotland Jin ではありませんか? American des.
So okay, so American des. If you said American des, you would be perfectly understood. But to say I'm an American person, you would say America Jin des. So if I can ask you to
America
say
Jin des.
Okay. Can you say the whole sentence one more time?
はい。スコットランド人ではありませんが、全アメリカンです。
America Jin des.
American Jin des.
Okay. Cool. Good. Okay. Let's see. So as well as our nationality, we can also talk about our job. So you can say I'm an engineer, or I'm a gardener, or I'm a samurai. Again, just by saying des, meaning I am. So Tom, how would you say? So the word engineer, you can just say engineer. How would you say? I'm not an engineer, but I am a pilot, which is also pilot.
Yeah,
Which Tom?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should be more specific. So yeah, Tombo, can you go first?
Engineer Jin ではありませんが、pilot です。
So you don't have to say engineer Jin. So just saying engineer is actually just a good way of describing it. So if you say again,
Engineer Jin.
Not Jin.
Not Jin. Engineer ではありませんが、pilot です。
Pilot です。Good. Engineer ではありませんが、pilot です。David Parker, how would you say? I'm not a DJ. I'm a cleaner. So again, you can just say all these words in English, and they will be completely understood.
DJ ではありませんが、クリーナーです。
Very good. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if we want to now go from the present tense, which is des, and dewa arimasen, which is the way of saying I am or I'm not, to put this into the past word for I was, or it was, or this thing was, or they were, she was. The past word is, let me just pass this over to you, deshta. Deshta. So it goes from des to deshta. So if you wanted to say, I was a woman, but now I'm a man. So as Taya's laughing so hard, you could be the one that answers this. I'd like you to say, I was a woman, but now I'm a man. So I think you already know the word for woman and man, so everybody can learn from you.
Okay. 女の人でしたが男の人 was it that I'm not a man? No.
Oh, I'm a man. I'm a man.
Okay. 女の人でしたが男の人です。
Very good. Excellent. 女の人でしたが男の人です。So the words for man and woman, or male and female, the word for woman is onna, and the word for man is otoko. So this just means male and female very much in the way that you just use that word male, female. Most people don't say I was a female. Now, oh, maybe they do. But if you want to actually make it sound a bit more natural and normal, you would say onna no hito. So hito is the same character as jin, as in English jin, just means person. Hito is the Japanese version, Japanese reading of this character, and jin is the Chinese reading of this character. So English jin means a person of England, and otoko no hito means a person of masculinity. Okay, so otoko is male and onna is female. Okay, some things are good writing down, so I'm glad to see some of you are writing this stuff. Okay, Spiros. No, actually, you've done
Yes.
one already. Let me ask somebody else. Hang on a second.
Yes, please.
David, Galaxy A50. That's you. Let me unmute you. How would you say it was me?
It was so Deshita Okata.
Okay, so I haven't written it on the board today, but the thing that I posted on the YouTube clip yesterday was to say that all Japanese sentences are made up of 3 or 4 sections, and one of them you usually don't have to worry about. The one you have to keep all the time, the rule that you have to keep all the time, is the last thing you say in a sentence before the full stop will either be, in general, will either be a verb or will be des or deshta, to say it is or they were or it's not. So you can put all the information before that, and then you put at the end of it a verb or des, dewa arimasen, deshta. So if you wanted to say it was me, how would you say that, David?
Yeah, so Okata Deshita, that's man, me, isn't it?
Okay, so me,
Yeah,
the word for I and me, and you may need to write this down, but we'll be again using it quite a lot, is watashi.
Okay.
Watashi. So this is really, again, a really easy word because it means I and me. It's really a general word that you can use for everything. I'm just going to let Max, no, Max can wait till next week. Yeah, watashi. So
watashi deshita, yeah.
Watashi deshita, exactly. It was me.
Yeah.
If you want to be really, really detailed and say, me, my name is Andy, then at the beginning of the sentence, we can draw attention to the fact that you're talking about yourself. So this is marking the subject of what you're about to say. So if you want to say something like, as for me, I am Andy, or as for me, I'm English, we would mark the subject by putting a particle after it, and that particle is wa, wa. So if I wanted to say, as for me, my name is Andy, we would say, I would say, watashi wa Andy des. Watashi wa, as for me, Andy des. I am Andy. So, Łukasz, how would you say, as for me, I am Russian?
Watashi wa Russiajin desu.
Absolutely, yeah. Watashi wa Russiajin desu. Good. Piotr Kukla, how would you say, as for me, I am Canadian?
Watashi wa Kanadiajin desu.
Excellent. Good.
Canadajin desu. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. Canadajin desu. Good. Patrick, how would you say, as for me, I am Brazilian?
Watashi wa Brazilian desu.
Absolutely, yeah, perfect. Exactly that.
How would you add the as for me part?
So just by saying watashi wa, this is drawing the attention to the fact that you're talking about yourself. So watashi wa is enough to say as for me, regarding me.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So this use of wa as the subject marker is quite often actually dropped in a conversation with somebody. You normally don't have to draw attention to the thing that you're talking about. And this is the same in European languages as well. In any conversation, you're not constantly marking the subject of a conversation between two people because you know what you're talking about. So it's not much different to European languages. I know that, for example, if I'm saying I'm an engineer, I would say I am an engineer. But the word of the use of wa is more about really drawing your attention to one particular thing out of a group of other things. So if you're talking about a group of people and they all say, we are cocktail waiters, if you wanted to draw attention to yourself, you would say, watashi wa engineer desu. Cocktail waiter de wa arimasen. So it's really a way of making a distinction between everything else or one other thing and the thing that you're talking about. So we don't, if we're saying, if I want to introduce myself, it's absolutely grammatically correct to say watashi wa Andy desu. But the watashi wa is redundant. If I'm introducing myself, of course, if I say Andy desu, of course I'm talking about myself, unless I'm pointing to somebody else and saying, this is Martin, then you know that you're talking about yourself if you're introducing yourself. Is that okay, guys? Yeah. But just to practice this use of this wa particle, Beatrice, can I ask you to say, I am Beatrice and I am Norwegian.
私はベアトリスです。ノルウェー人です。
Absolutely, yeah. 私は Beatrice des. So the way that Norway is translated as Japanese, it's very much anglicized. So they say Norwegian des. So can I ask you to say that again, please?
私はベアトリスです。ノルウェー人です。
Perfect, exactly. Okay. Let's see, who else have we got? So Marcus, how would you say, my name is Marcus. I am not New Zealand. I am Australian. Damn it.
Damn it. 私はマークスです。ニュージーランド人でした。
So that was I was, which might be true.
Which, well, no. ではありません。
Good. Yeah.
ニュージーランド人ではありません。オーストラリア人です。
Good. So between New Zealand jin dewa arimasen and Australia jin des, yes, yeah. If you put ga in, then you're making it very clear you're saying but.
Right. So Marcus des New Zealand jin dewa arimasen. Dewa arimasen deshita.
No, just dewa arimasen.
Dewa arimasen ga Australia jin desu.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay, Tom Daly, how would you say, I am Tom, I am English, sorry, I'm not Irish, but I'm English.
私は Tom です。Irish 人ではありませんが、English 人です。
Perfect. Excellent. Well done. 私は Tom です。アイルランド人ではありませんが、イギリス人です。Good. Aga, how would you say, I am Aga, I am a designer. Sorry, I'm not a designer. I am a pilot. Which is probably true, right?
Yeah, sure. 私は赤です。デザイナーではありませんが、パイロットです。
Oh, fantastic. Good. 私は赤です。デザイナーではありませんが、パイロットです。Balint, how would you say, my name is Balint. I am not Hungarian, but I'm Czech.
Okay, let's see. Watashi wa balint desu.
Good.
Right?
Yep.
De wa arimasen
so
Hungarian jin.
Okay, so if we're making sentences which are made out of sections, again, this rule about putting des or deshta also applies to these individual sections as well. So you'd have to say the information first, and then des or dewa arimasen. Then the ga almost operates like a comma to divide up the two sections, and then you can say the second part.
Okay, so watashi wa it was I am balint.
Yep,
yeah.
that's it.
Watashi wa balint ga or
No, so what's it is? How do you say I am?
Okay, watashi wa balint desu.
Good.
Right.
Absolutely.
Ga. Or what was the second part? Is
I'm not Hungarian, but I am Czech.
Okay. Dewa arimasen Hungary jin.
So those two bits should be the other way around, shouldn't it? So you put the information first, which is Hungarian jin.
Hungarian jin. Dewa arimasen.
Good.
Ga.
Yeah.
Czech.
Yep.
Czech jin desu. Right.
Excellent. Good. Absolutely.
Sorry.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Balint des, Hungaria jin dewa arimasen ga, Czech jin des. Guys, I can see we've got less than 1 minute, so we'll close this session and we'll go on to the second session, which is also in that link. And thanks to Kim for reminding me that actually we could have run the same link, but we'll go on to the second link anyway, because I'd already put that information out there. So go into the second link on the post. I'll see you over there.
See you guys.
Ciao.
See you guys.
Yeah.